What's going on, people? Welcome to the match preview show. This time we're facing Liverpool in another massive game. When you don't win games, it doesn't matter about the opposition. Every game is massive. And we are here. We are here to have a debrief and also look ahead. Now that emotions have calmed down, what on earth is going wrong at Palace? Should we be concerned and more? Make sure to get involved by leaving down your thoughts in the comment section down below, as well as dropping a like and subscribing if you're new to the channel. Joined by Nick, AJ, and T here. Gents, 6 games now in the league without a win. Very frustrating on Saturday. Very, very, very. For me, now that the emotions have calmed down, still slightly looking forward to the Liverpool game because this is Palace, so you never know what could happen. But the way we collapsed, T, I mean, I haven't spoke to you on here about it. It was very, very disappointing after the first half that we've had. But looking ahead to the Liverpool game, how are you feeling? Are you over that game, or?
I'm over it because I have to be. You know,
I think that's the feeling with everyone.
Yeah, I mean, you can't really stick to it, and because I feel like the more you think about that match that's already happened, the worse you are trying to go into the next one. So, definitely basic because I need to be. But I think the thing is, we now definitely understand that it's going to take a complete 90 minutes to see that first win happen. You can't let off the gas. You can't have lacks of concentration or effort for even 10 to 15 minutes in a match, man, because 10 to 15 minutes changed everything for us at Goodison last weekend. So my hope is that with this type of opponent going against a team the caliber of Liverpool, everybody's really going to be locked in, and we'll see an improved performance.
AJ, when you're looking at this side and what happened, do you think, I know I might be clinging on to something here when there's nothing there maybe, but do you think this is kind of like a reality check that we needed to finally be just there in a drop 6 games in, to finally, say to the players, to the manager, to everyone involved, like, wake up, it's not good enough? Do you think that's a good thing in a way, even though, of course, it's not ideal, but, it's better to be down there 6 games in than be down there, I don't know, 25 or 30 games in?
I'll be honest, I'm really been sort of coping and struggling to find positives because I think that there have been games this season that we should have won. And at the level of a professional footballer, if you don't know that being switched off for 10 minutes is going to potentially cost you, especially at the elite level of Premier League, I don't know what to tell you. Against an Everton side, which, let's be honest, aren't really a big deal, I think that I'm really struggling to see the positives right now. The only way that they're going to be able to turn this around for me is with results and performances on the pitch, and I just don't think we're quite there yet. I'm not panicking or worrying about us particularly getting sucked into the bottom of the table as such, but I think that we need to really buck up our ideas, and I think the way that you're going to start getting rid of all this toxicity, we're going to start looking and feeling a lot more positive about things, is by showing us on the pitch. And I think that we just haven't it just hasn't clicked for us yet. And until I sort of see a performance, and what I don't mean we somehow script some win against Liverpool and then all of a sudden, it's all roses again. Obviously the Premier League table will look better and we'll have something to smile and laugh about. But right now, I'm just really struggling to find the positives with what's going on this season. There's just criticism all over the place. I do think that the team did have a few moments in that first half against Everton where we were clicking, we were coming together, and all of a sudden things were starting to make sense. But I think the way that the game just sort of got taken away from us in that second half, it really just put a really dark cloud over things, and I'm really struggling to bat it away.
I'll be honest. Look, the second half was terrible for the players just giving up. I think that was very annoying. I mean, everyone should be expecting some kind of, change from Everton at halftime after the first half that they've had. So it'll be crazy of them or deluded of them to think that they're going to have a similar second half, easy peasy, roll through, get the win. No, like you was going to always have some kind of attack from Everton. So that was very disappointing, especially when you have players in the squad that are being linked with massive moves to big clubs. Like you just can't crumble like that. However, I do have to say, I disagree with you in terms of the positives. I thought the first half was the best half of football that we played, regardless of the opposition that we've had. I think the movement on and off the ball was good. Lacroix was very good. I mean, he looked like his best self. The positioning of I'm not just looking at the stats. I'm looking at watching Palace play. And it felt similar to watching Palace of last season, like more of that end than what we've seen even this season in wins as well. I thought everything kind of clicked. We didn't concede that many chances. We created chances. We could have scored more goals, hit the post as well. And that is the Palace that we've known more of. I think the second half, where you can ask questions, is when you look at the goal that we conceded. Yes, Kamada got subbed off and we're 2-1 down. Maybe the subs from the manager or the tactical adjustments, did we create enough chances? Then you can look at the stats and say, all right, then the stats weren't, it kind of showed something else rather than what we saw with our eyes. We didn't really create that many chances. I don't know how many shots we had in the second half based on the stats, but we didn't. But the first half, forget about the stats. From what I've seen from Palace, that was very good. And that happened, Nick, after the first full week of training. If we carry that on going forward, I mean, surely a win would come from somewhere. But the biggest thing is the players not crumbling when under pressure. That was the biggest disappointment for me.
What we've got to remember is, I know Glasner's alluded to it. Hello, everybody. The run last season is kind of gave us a false hope, and I was thinking about this earlier. Is we were kind of safe within 2 games of that final run of 7, I think it was. We were then safe. And suddenly we're able to play with a little bit of freedom away from that pressure. And by the end of the season, we had such a swagger about the way we played. We went into games knowing we could win them. That's kind of been dampened a bit. There are some players who aren't performing as well as they could do. There are players that are getting unfairly slated for what they're doing. I keep seeing Kamada seeing is out of position, but I saw something probably on the Athletic that says that he has played in that position quite a lot in Germany. It was just individual errors again. I've got a little bit of criticism for Ebbs because he didn't seem to. He just seemed really slow towards the end when it was imperative that we got the ball in the mixer, and he just seemed a bit lackadaisical. I'm just wondering if he's missing having the Elise foil, as in good mates, but it was like Right and Bright, wasn't it? How they G each other up and spur each other on. As Eze got a sparring partner at Palace that he could kind of joust off and try and outdo. Is the team spirit there? Anderson is a big miss, but stats have shown this week that Gay was the best long passer at the weekend. Lacroix, very positive. Look, the game was 10 minutes of utter madness, was it? McNeil, wasn't it? Just, one was a worldie. Yeah. But if we can beat Liverpool or play well against Liverpool, maybe we'll go some way towards getting that swagger back. But it's going to need a few players bucking their ideas up a bit, I think.
Yeah,
we just got to hope that
Liverpool. I don't think we got much, but then again, we'll talk about it later on in the show in terms of predictions. But if we do, of course, the aim under Glasner has always been, regardless of the opposition, we're going out there to win. So that's going to be the mentality. But for us, I don't know about you, T, and everyone. This is a conversation that we've needed to have, I think, due to not winning a game and looking at some of the big plays that we have in our squad. If we have a chance of beating Liverpool,
hang on, D. The other way to look at that though is we've only lost 1 game in 6.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. For me, going into the Everton game, that was the biggest disappointment, because after the first half and how we played, I was like, finally going into. I was thinking we're so close to a win, it's not like we're getting these draws and getting lucky. Against United, I know first half we were kind of lucky, but in the second half, talking about a player that I was literally going to talk about, Eze. If big players stepped up, then I think we win a few more games. And I'm looking at Eze in particular here because he's meant to be the creative outlook. And in the second half, when we're 2-1 down, not just this game, I mean, this season in general, I've just been getting frustrated with how much he plays the game at his own pace. I said it in the match reaction show. If you're playing a counter-attacking football, I mean, sometimes he plays it too easy, T. Look, you can disagree with me, but that's what I've noticed. I don't know what it is with a slow start to the season. He's missed chances as well in a few games. Then again, he came big against Chelsea, so I'll give him that with the goal that he scored. But for a player that's been linked with top clubs for big money, I really think if we have any chance of winning this game, it'll be Eze. It'll be Eze stepping up and delivering. And without him, we're going to struggle. But for you, there's been a few people that's also agreed. Some people disagreed. For you, what do you think about the Eze situation going into this game? Some people have actually suggested he gets dropped, which I think is crazy because I don't know who will play down the left. But that's how the opinions are varying right now, T.
Well, I think the criticism is understandable. You know, I think it's okay to have your opinions about him needing to play better because it's true. I mean, if he does play better, we probably are seeing some of these decisions happen. But what I don't feel is fair or deserving is to put it all on one guy. I mean, because it's 11 guys out there playing to achieve a common goal. You know what I mean? And as much as people slate somebody like Kamada or talk about, you know, Eze needing to do more for us, you've also heard people talking about the laziness of Mateta up top and how that needs to change. I think everybody's going to have an opinion on what needs to be done and who needs to be changed, moved, shifted, so forth. I mean, the thing about a guy like Ebbs and the reason why you don't bench him is because of he's mercurial. He has magic in himself that few other players can create. And if he's not out there, you can't get it.
It's like Darren Ambrose did sweet FA during games apart from score worldies and worldie free kicks. And you needed him on the pitch, even though at times it was like they were playing against 10 men because Ambrose, all he could do was shoot. So
but then have we just on the Eze situation, is it one of them things where we've put him too much on a pedestal and expect him to win games on his own? Because over the years we've had various different names of talisman, you know, going from, I guess, more modern times would be Zaha, Olise, and Eze. And now that Olise is gone, and we haven't realistically brought in that big name or that exciting name, have we put too much sort of emphasis on Eze? So as far as we're concerned, if we're not winning games, it's just going to go to, well, if Eze has a bad game, then we're going to have a bad game. Or if Eze doesn't do a madness, we're not going to, it's the reason why we're losing. Maybe there's a reason, maybe there's a bit of a unknown bias there.
Yeah, why is it not a shared burden amongst the other players? Why does it fall to this one guy to make it happen? That's a lot to ask of one guy.
But we've had that problem historically. We've had that problem historically. You know, once upon a time it was Zaha and everyone else. And if Zaha didn't show up, or if Zaha was having a bad game, or if Zaha got injured, we were finished as far as, you know, certain games were concerned. I remember they used to whip up the stats that used to say when Zaha didn't play, we didn't win. So I'm just a bit concerned that, you know, that's going to happen with Eze very, very soon, if not already. So maybe that's the reason why he's in that sort of, he's being highlighted for criticism. Plus, you got also understand. There was that interview that came out with Parrish talking about how he had no interest in the summer as well, which he found surprising as well, because we as Crystal Palace fans rated him and Olise extremely highly, and they're the main ones that we are sort of panicking about losing. And considered indispensable for us. So maybe that's part of the issue.
Well, I think there's a lot of focus on Eze because Eze is meant to be the star player of the side. So naturally, I mean, just like in the defense, you look at the likes of Gahey, and we spoke about Gahey in the games that he hasn't performed, and said, you know, why hasn't he performed? I mean, Eze will naturally, when we're in that attack, out of all them front three, Eze is a crazy player. Eze is meant to be the main man. Eze is meant to be the man that's going to get that big move to a big club. So I think naturally the focus will be on Eze. But I think the question that we can ask then is that, you know, in regards to Eze, is he getting the right support around him? Do we need to make changes around Eze to get the best out of Eze? Could that be a thing then? If Eze is not performing at the I think Eze can still do more regardless in this system. I just think he does slow it down a bit too much. Maybe he's missing that partnership of Elise. Then again, he's gone. He's gone. If you want to play for a big club, you just have to step up. You can't just look at Elise. He's gone. But Nick, do you think we should be changing the system to try and get the best out of the players? Do you think this system is not working currently, or
it's kind of unfamiliar. It's not. I don't think it's the system. It's the mistakes. Just going back to what AJ said about Ebbs, it's the fact that we had an assist from a defender for Gay's goal on Saturday, and we nearly had the identical thing happen just after where Munoz just missed. Does show that the team doesn't have to rely on Eze that much for the chances. There were a couple of moments in the match where he pulled out some incredible skills to get past players. So it's frustrating knowing that he's got that in his locker. He does seem to be a bit kind of laid back. The word is that the word? Is he?
I get what you mean. Like even the goal that we conceded against Everton, a lot of people looking at Eze.
But then, and I'm not comparing him to George Best, but George Best was like that, and he was brilliant.
Well, George Best was on a whole different level, though, in terms of
no, but he kind of had that same kind of air of, yeah.
But then again, Nick, I mean, we're seeing it in our, in front of us, literally right in front of us with Eze, and that's the issue. That's the issue when you're the star player. And I think a lot of focus will naturally go on him because of the tag that he has on top of his head. Eze is meant to be the next player to leave potentially Crystal Palace to a big side. So
how much of it is down to other clubs though, and other managers and coaches figuring out the Glasner way? Because I know he does tweak it a little bit, but does Glasner need to be more radical with a way of playing Liverpool in order to beat them, or would that be?
I think let's talk about the changes that I think we need, and then whether you agree or disagree, you can let me know as well. In defense, if Chalobah's fit, I would start Chalobah in defense ahead of Lerma. I don't think Lerma had a bad game, but I think Chalobah would offer more on the ball. With Lerma, it's always been the case in terms of his ball playing ability, which I question. Apart from that, defensively, he's solid. However, saying that, if Chalobah's not fit, if he can't start the game, then I'll start Lerma there. But, if he is, Lerma can go to midfield for Kamada. I don't have to say much more. The balance is not there with Kamada. The reason why I think it worked good in the first half, and he actually had a good half of football, is because Everton didn't do much going forward. So he didn't have that, the defensive responsibility that we saw in the second half when Everton started attacking us. That's when he got exposed once again. So we need balance in midfield. So if Lerma's starting in defense, then Will Hughes plays there. If Chalobah's starting in defense, then Lerma plays alongside Adam Wharton to add that balance. I saw it in the game against West Ham. I've said it then. Don't start Kamada in midfield. We threw away that game because Kamada came off the bench in midfield and West Ham ended up scoring 2 goals. It's too easy. So Wharton needs that support. And another change that I'll make, a change that I disagreed with quite a few people a few weeks ago, was Mateta for Sarr. That needs to happen. I'm sorry, that needs to happen. I don't care if he scored 4 goals this season. I'm not seeing enough of him on the pitch. In fact, I was surprised that he wasn't the one that got benched. Nketiah play in his normal position up front. Sarr play down the right-hand side, because down the right-hand side, we just don't have the directness. We don't have the pace player, which Sar's created chances. Sar created chances against United. Sar can't really do much apart from coming on and doing what he's been doing. So I think he deserves a start. And we do need changes. I don't think we need 5 or 6, but 3. 3 for me. You put Mateta on the bench because I'll be honest, ever since with him, look, he's always wanted technically out to move to a bigger club, which I found cheeky this summer in terms of like the rumors around it, and he really wanted to push a Champions League club because we've been patient with Mateta for years, and he had a very nice season and end to the season, but he always when he's had his good run of form, he's ready to jump the ship. So for me, I would put Nketiah up front. He's our player. We signed him for £30 million. Let's play him in this. And then let's see how it works out. Because with Sar and Eze, they had a good link-up play. Maybe that could unlock Eze. Maybe Eze is missing that right now.
Is it true that there's a hex on Mateta since he stopped kicking the corner flag when he scored and it's his own fault?
What was that?
He stopped kicking the corner flag, so it's put a hex on.
Saying, Nick.
I mean, he's still scoring goals. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, he's still scoring goals at a decent clip. I think the effort hasn't been there in a lot of ways.
And that's a problem, though.
And does he need a rest? You know what I mean?
Look, bringing him to the bench and giving him an opportunity there, maybe it could give him, a bit of come on, you need to get going again. It could give him a reality check on the situation as well. But that's what I think. 3 changes for you lot. Any agreements, disagreements? How do you think about those? Or would you make any other changes to the side? I don't think we have to make that many. We just have to. But funny enough, if you recognize, there's 1 change in defense, 1 change in midfield, 1 change in attack. We do need changes in all different areas to add that balance, which I think is missing right now.
I think that if you got a guy like Trevor Chalobah who made the bench last match, which shows that he is capable and ready, I think you put him into that back line just because it then allows you to be able to move Jefferson Lerma into the midfield and let Kamada come off the bench. I think Kamada could be a very good contributor for us off the bench as another attacking player to bring off the bench for us, because right now with the way we've been setting it up, the 2 attackers that come off the bench for us are Sar and then Jeff Slupp. So now if you make that switch, now you have Sar possibly, if he doesn't start, but now you have somebody like Kamada come off the bench who can add more to your attacking acumen. So I'm with you on that, D. I think you start Chalobah. I think you move Lerman into midfield, and then I'm perfectly happy with maybe giving JP a break and going with that attacking trio of Eze, Sar, and Nketiah. If they decide to start Mateta, so be it. The one thing I'm interested to see is if Mateus França will make the bench for this one, for this match as well, because it sounds like he's really close. Yeah, it sounds like he was really close. So
yeah, he just didn't want to rush him in. It seems like, so he was kind of fit, but kind of kept him just out of the squad because he's been out for 6 months to protect him. So I think França would be a solid addition as well, because I mean that when Nketiah came off, and I'm not saying Nketiah had a particularly great game, but for me, in my opinion, he was winning fouls. He was trying to do something. He was trying to do something in the game. And all game long, I think JP was kind of struggling. When that happened, that stuff happened, and then on top of that, put the cherry on top of the cake was that shot from Schlupp. I was like, yeah, this is over. This Everton game is over. There's no way we're getting a result over that. So France are coming off the bench, which I have to say, he is not a £5 million signing. I've said this before. I think I said this in the match reaction. I think we've kind of lowered our expectations for França because of everything that happened under Roy, especially with the injuries as well. But there is quite, we spent good amount of money. The money that was spent on França, we spent similar levels to Wharton, Gahey, and other players. So we signed him. We clearly spent that much because we're expecting returns. So yeah, with Francois on the Glasner, I'll give him the the opportunity, especially off the bench ahead of Jeffrey Schlupp, which I think Glasner is trying to get the Fulham goal that he scored last season, which was great from Jeffrey Schlupp, but more time it's difficult if Schlupp's still coming off your bench. But yeah, anything else to add in terms of team?
I think he'll play Mateta simply because he needs a tall player to defend the corners coming in. For Van Dijk, going to be.
I was thinking about Van Dijk as well. I didn't think about that till T was talking, and I thought about their defense, Van Dijk and Konate. But having Lacroix there helps. I think Lacroix.
And if you play Trevor Chalobah, he's another tall guy.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
Now, would you have that middle back three of two unknown, two haven't played together before with Gay, or because I thought, and a couple of people I've seen on social media have said it, Lacroix looked better in a back four than a back five.
I disagree. I think we collapsed as a team, but in the back five, the back three, especially in the first half, he was very good. I was very impressed by him. So I don't think it's a matter of back three versus back four. I think when we went to a back four, we didn't create that many chances. We got here on the counter. Everyone just kind of lost his head, and Lacroix was one of them, which was a disappointment because he actually had a very good game. I was very impressed by him. But
Lerma Hughes alongside Wharton, because you've also got to think of what's his face who's moved into the midfield for them.
Szoboszlai,
Gravenberch. Was he playing there for a bit? Is he still playing in there?
No. He's playing up right back now. But he can invert into midfield as well. So it depends. They can have that tactical adjustment. But funny enough, gents, let's move on to score predictions. Correct me if I'm wrong, but our season under Glasner last season started off at the Liverpool game, right? With a win. After they beat Liverpool at Anfield with that performance and a win. It's not going to be easy. For me, just try to get a point. Of course, context matters. Look, if we're winning 1-0 and then we're conceding in the 90th minute, I'm not going to be happy with a point. Like, ideally, the point is the main focus, but depends on how we get it, which I don't think is off the cards. Like, I'm not expecting the worst against Liverpool because I don't think we played that bad this season. When we're locked in, we've actually been okay. And it's another full week of training as well with the squad. But yeah, I'm going to start it off. I'm going to go for 1-0. 1-0. I'm expecting a reaction from the players after their comments. Wharton spoke. Gahey spoke. Not just what Gahey said. I was looking at Gahey's face when he's speaking, and he was pissed off. You could tell he was pissed off. And he's the captain of this football club. So I'm expecting a reaction from the players. Expecting a reaction from the managers, sellers. We have to take the game to them. We have to show what we can do. And I think, surprisingly, Palace being Palace, I think we'll turn up. So I'm going to go for 1-0. Let's go around. AJ, you?
I'm going to go full kamikaze. No. I'm going for a kamikaze delusion. 2-1 Palace.
2-1 Palace. Who's going to be real? Who's going to be real here? And stay away from the delusions. Nick?
I'm going to rock up to the ground. I'm going to be full of confidence and we'll lose 3-1.
3-1. You know what? 3-1 sounds a bit realistic as well. It's sad, but it does sound true. T, for you?
2-1 Liverpool.
2-1 Liverpool. Look, Forest have beaten them. Forest have, of course, been better so far this season.
Forest have been better this season too.
They have. However, how did Forest beat them? They hit them on the counter. And if this Oliver Glasner's side does perform at the levels they should, and if everything gets clicking, and if it does make the changes, then we are known to be able to do that. So, I think this Liverpool side, I predicted them to finish around third when the season started. I don't think they were going to fall off, but they're not perfect as well. They're going to have hiccups along the way. We saw that against Forest as well. So fingers crossed we can turn up. But look, thank you to every single one of you that's watched this. If you have enjoyed it, please hit the like button as well as subscribing if you're new to the channel. Thank you to Nick, T, and AJ. It is a bit depressing right now supporting Palace, but surely sooner rather than later, Palace are going to shock us and get a win somewhere. But that's it from us. And until next time, up the Palace.